If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. Help us reach that next milestone. This video is for those in the comments asking for some 1,000 points lists. Also for anyone curious about those 1,000 points games. I do play 1,000 points games, but I prefer the smaller boards for 1,000 points. The full-size board just makes getting around seem a bit long and slow. These lists are made to be played on either size board though. I wanted them to be good no matter the board size played on for 1,000 points. No Forge World in this one. Instead of going over all the benefits the detachment gives each unit, for these 1,000 point lists, I want to try more what is this unit's job and game plan. The 2,000 point list videos on the channel have a lot of the same units with a large breakdown of the detachment synergy. I do not want to just be copy pasting the same information for just a smaller game. I do want to make these videos a little bit different. Now let's go over the list itself. Warlord is a shield captain and he has the Melta Spear with the Presidium shield, and he has the enhancement from Hall of Armories, giving his spear +1 strength and +1 damage. For our characters, we have a Bladechampion, no enhancements. Battle line is 4 Custodian-Guard, 3 with the Guardian Spears, 1 with the Vexilla and the Shield and the Misericordia. For our other data sheets, we have 3 Allarus Custodians with Castellan Axes, 5 Custodian Wardens with 5 Guardian Spears and 1 Vexilla, and then finally we have 2 units of Witchseekers. The army rule for the Custodes is Martial Kata. Each time a unit from your army with this ability is selected to fight, select one of the Kata stances. Until that unit has finished making its attacks, the selected stance is active for it and it gains the relevant ability. Dakatari stance, which gives you sustained hits 1 in melee. Then we have Rendex stance, which gives you lethal hits in melee. Then we have the Shield Host Detachment rule, Martial Mastery. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the bullet points below. If you do so until the start of the next battle round, that bullet point effects apply. First one is each Adeptus Custodes model with the Martial Kata ability. Melee weapons equipped by that models gain the crits on 5 ability. Or you could pick Adeptus Custodes models with the Martial Kata ability. Melee weapons equipped by that model gain +1 AP. I'll quickly go through the stratagems. I do have other videos on the channel going over these stratagems more in depth. We have Arcane Genetic Alchemy, and that is a 1 CP any phase, 4 Feel No Pain against mortal wounds. Archaeotech Munitions, and that is just lethal hits or sustained hits on our ranged weapons. Avenge the Fallen, I don't use this one that much, it just adds an extra attack if you are below the starting strength. Multi-Potentiality, Fallback, Shoot and Charge, very good for any Custodes list. Then we have Unwavering Sentinels, and this one is just -1 to the enemy's melee attacks if we are on objective we control. Finally is Vigilance Eternal, and this is important to our list because this gives battle line units the Sticky Objectives ability, and our only battle line is the Custodian-Guard. Now let's go over the units themselves. We have our Warlord, the Shield Captain with 5 Wardens. With our War Gear selection and our enhancement, the Shield Captain Warlord will have 7 wounds, a Melta Spear for ranged attacks, and then for melee, the Melta Spear will be Strength 8 with Damage 3. The Shield Captain gives us access to any of the 6 stratagems for 0 CP, since all of the Shield Host stratagems cost 1 CP. Arcane Genetic Alchemy and Multi-Potentiality are the best targets for Strategic Mastery to reduce the cost to 0 CP. Even more so with Arcane Genetic Alchemy, being any phase, we want to be able to use this stratagem when needed. We may not always have the 1 CP saved in the bank to use it. Arcane Genetic Alchemy, Multi-Potentiality, and Unwavering Sentinels will help boost the defensive profile of this unit. I want to have this unit on the prime objective, usually the center, but always the one with the most potential for danger. Living Fortress and the Shield Captain having the From Hall of Armories enhancement, this will be a very tough and very dangerous unit for this list. Next up is our Bladechampion with the 4 Custodian-Guard. This unit will be both an objective holder and an attack unit. We can use Vigilance Eternal to sticky objectives to keep this unit on the attack, yet still scoring primary points for us. Multi-Potentiality will keep this unit from being tied down, with Arcane Genetic Alchemy keeping this unit safe from mortal wounds. The Custodian-Guard's Stand Vigil ability allows the unit, including the Bladechampion, to reroll wounds of 1 or the wound roll if the unit is on objective the Custodes control. The Bladechampion will add big damage in a once per game advance and charge, and in all game reroll the charge roll. Next we have our unit of 3 Allarus Custodians. This will be our primary attack unit with the ability to grab some secondary points as well. This will be one of the few trade units in our list. As a Custodians player, I do not like to trade units since our units are usually the more expensive unit, but it will be the more expendable unit in this list. Like most of the list, the Allarus are a good target for multi-potentiality and arcane genetic alchemy. I also want to highlight archaeotech munitions to give the unit sustained 1 or lethal hits on their ranged attacks. Both the Castellan axe shots and the ballistic D6 blast grenade launcher will benefit from the stratagem. This unit I want to start in Deep Strike to have a dangerous rapid ingress threat. Plus Golden Light allows us to reposition this unit once per game after dealing with a threat, or to deep strike into enemy deployment for secondary points. And then finally, we have our 2 units of Witchseekers. One of these units will scout towards the middle or the closest objective to no man's land, or the closest objective in no man's land from our deployment. The other can be used to hold the home objective, or if there is no deep strike threat to the home objective, use the Bladechampion-Guard unit to stick the home objective before we advance that unit up the board. If both Witchseeker units are free, we want to try to scope them towards separate areas to maximize board control. We don't want to send them both towards the center objective, split them up some. There is not many stratagems to keep in mind for these Witchseekers, since all but multi-potentiality are locked to non-Psychonic units only. So that's the units. On to the final thoughts. This list should be able to score good points as well as do some good damage in the fight phase. The Allarus ranged attacks with archaeotech munition stratagem can do some work against light infantry or horde units. The large unit of Wardens should make getting primary points and holding the center much easier. We want to be using Vigilance Eternal as much as possible with the Bladechampion, the Guard unit, to sticky as much of the objectives as we can. With a small unit and model count, we do not want to be standing around on objectives all game. If you enjoy the video or got anything from the video, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by.